What would the world look like if you had a magic pill that could give you 5 minutes of superhuman powers? Well, probably a movie that screams B-movie, but Project Power isn't completely terrible. It does have some redeeming qualities, so stick around for our real take on Netflix's latest movie offering.
We have yet another original Netflix release with Project Power, which is directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. This movie stars Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Dominique Fishback in a movie that centers around a drug that, if taken, can give you superhuman powers for 5 minutes. So Art is an ex-military guy who is trying to find his daughter who has gone missing, while Frank, the cop, is trying to basically just fight crime on the streets, and Robin is pushing this drug around, and the movie just kind of brings these three characters together, their paths cross, and that basically propels the story along.
Forward. This movie, when I watched it and as I was going through it, I was like, wow, this kind of feels like something a high school kid would write, you know? It's more flash than substance, to be honest. It's very action-packed.
Definitely.
It was very rushed, I thought.
And you know, the action is probably one of the better things about the movie, right? And
yeah.
In particular, I'm talking about the way that the action scenes are shot and executed right. The placement of the camera is very interesting and thoughtful at times. There are barriers in between the camera and the action taking place, and it kind of creates like a cool filter, right? And just makes the action scenes look interesting and cool. But then you have the special effects in the movie, which we talked about immediately after we watched it, right?
Yeah, it was kind of hot and cold for me.
Yeah.
You know, it felt its lower budget, but there were some scenes that looked okay, but definitely when they try to go big on a grander scale, you're like, okay, a little cartoony.
Yeah, a little cartoony. Some of the, superhumans that these characters turn into, right? Some of them look better than others. There's kind of like this troll-looking superhuman that looked really fake, and there was one that kind of, turned into the Human Torch-like character, and that one was one of the coolest ones, I thought.
It's very comic booky, I thought.
Very comic booky, but the movie unfortunately suffers from, like you said, a very weak script. There's hardly any character depth. I mean, I don't know about you, but I found myself not really caring about these characters, with the exception maybe of the character that Dominique Fishback plays.
Oh, Robin.
Robin, yeah.
Right, they do sprinkle some stuff in there to try to, give her, like you said, more depth, but I kind of felt like some of those scenes were a little out of place and felt just kind of disjointed from the main plot line, but I see what they were going with. They do try to drop in some backstory with two of the characters, but again, it moves so fast that you don't really get immersed in it, and like you said, you kind of like don't really buy into these characters very much.
True, and it's such a novelty idea, this story, about this drug that you can take, get superhuman powers for 5 minutes, but they don't do anything interesting with the idea. They don't really develop it, They're just kind of playing it safe, and it takes the story in a very linear fashion, and I wanted to know more about this drug, where it came from, and they could have done something clever in the story with the drug situation, and it never really happened, so that was disappointing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on the fact that they could have explored these ideas more, like for example the morality side of it. Frank, this cop, he takes the drug, trying to level the playing field with criminals, and I thought they could have delved into that more, had more of a discussion, make you think if the ends justify the means.
Correct, yeah, and that's unfortunate because like there are some good underlying working themes in there about corruption, and especially in positions of authority and power, right? But they really don't delve into that as well as they could, and it's only through basically Frank's character that we get a simmer or a little bit of that.
Right. But like we teased at the beginning, this movie isn't a terrible movie. I mean, it is a decent watch, and I would say its biggest redeeming quality is the acting. Like for example, Fishback, she does a tremendous job in here rapping, and for me, it was one of the highlights of the movie. Even though it kind of felt out of place, it was entertaining to watch. And when I did some research afterward, I was wondering, was she a rapper in real life? It turns out not even. She's just a skilled person, so I liked her acting. I thought she did a really good job of a girl who was tough, but at the same time very vulnerable and sensitive.
The acting is the saving grace of this movie, but for me it's unfortunate that great talents like Jamie Foxx and Levitt and this girl, their talents just go wasted in a movie that is very lackluster, very predictable. Fox and Levitt, always good, so they never disappoint, as expected. So, you know, look forward to their acting as one of the, you know, positive attributes of this movie.
Now it's time for our real ratings. I will just come right out and say I give this movie 3 reels out of 5. I can see how some people would probably give it fewer reels, but I definitely don't think it goes more than 3. I mean, like I said earlier, it was rushed, you know, a little explanation on things. The dots were connected too quickly. Some things came together rather conveniently. You know, plus all the other stuff that we mentioned. So 3 reels, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. 3 reels is just about right. I was debating between 2.5 and 3, and you know, it's not terrible. You know, it is kind of refreshing to watch a summer blockbuster, an action flick. You know, and the action scenes are exciting enough. But if you're looking for story, if you're looking for depth and complexity, if you're looking for, you know, good characterization, you are not going to get that in this movie. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
And on social media, find us on Facebook, we're at Real Screeners, and on Instagram, real.screeners. And don't forget to comment down below. Let us know what you think about our review and of the movie.
Yes, let us know what you think about this action flick. Is it a worthy action movie? And as always, stay tuned next time for some more real takes on movies.